Welcome to What's Your Opinion, where this week it's not about your opinion, it's about your questions. And the first one from George Kosh is an actual serious one, is who's my favourite current player in the NFL? And it's not necessarily an easy question to answer. No single player jumps to mind, but the one guy I did think of straight away for some reason was Kevin Byard. And now I do really like the guy. Whether I would say it's my favourite player in the NFL currently, I don't know. There's obviously some players I'm excited to see develop, things like that. But I guess if I had to right now go on the internet, buy a jersey for a single player, because it's a serious answer, probably actually would be Kevin Byard. Now, if I didn't have to answer the question seriously and I still had to go buy a jersey, it would either be a number 7 Wiener jersey for the Jets or a 21 Jameson Nickerson jersey for the Saints. Next up is Choco Taco, who asks, who's the GOAT? Although that looks more like a dog. Maybe it is. Who's the dog? Mark Sanchez, Jay Cutler, or Nathan Peterman? Now, the thing is, Peterman is too early to say because he may at some point still end up throwing more touchdowns than interceptions in his career, and then he wouldn't be, up for that title unless he did a bunch of other great stuff. But it's between Jay Cutler, Mark Sanchez. Jay Cutler's given us some great times, shots of him standing on the sideline, pedaling a bike on the sideline as your team loses the NFC title game to the Packers. Mark Sanchez, of course, has given us some great memories. But I think Jay Cutler, to me, isn't the GOAT because he actually had some ability and when he had the right team, played well as a quarterback. Mark Sanchez did well when he had a good defense and didn't have to play well as a quarterback. Mark Sanchez is the dog. Connor and 12 asks, how did you get in such close contact with Wiener? Well, it's a funny story actually. I was in Arkansas. As you may know, BJ Wiener is from the town of Wiener in Arkansas, and I was close to there. We were trying to finish off this real estate deal to buy a farm on Wiener Cutoff Road, and we were in Chili's trying to get it done. Didn't actually end up doing it, and at the time, BJ Wiener was actually just working as a waiter at Chili's. I met him there, we talked football, and we've stayed in contact ever since. Nova Gaming asks, is Andrew Luck your long-lost brother separated at birth? Obviously not. We were never separated and I've never lost him. We are brothers, that's 100% a fact. Remember, you can trust everything you hear on the internet. EatDatPasta445 says, could you read the 16 numbers on the front of your credit card, also the expiration date, card type, and 3 numbers on the back, please? And I would be more than happy to do that because, well, unfortunately, I don't have a normal credit card that has 16 numbers on the front and a number on the back that will allow you to use it online. I just have an IBAN number on the front, which is 20 digits long, so I can give you 16 of those and they won't help. That said, I won't actually show you my card because, well, that just seems like a stupid idea, even if it isn't a conventional normal credit card. It's just, I think it's called an EC card. Absolutely useless and I hate it. Nicholas Marini asks, in a macaroni and cheese eating contest, would JJ Watt be able to defeat Rob Gronkowski? Now, the important thing is here, we've got to consider a couple of variables. Firstly, is it Kraft mac and cheese? Because that would give Rob Gronkowski home field advantage. Secondly, if we're doing, homemade mac and cheese, not store-bought, what kind of cheese are we using? Is it from Wisconsin? Does JJ Watt get the advantage there? And thirdly, if it's neither of those, no one has home field advantage with the cheese or the mac, then it just comes down to the day. Who wants it more on the day? And to finish that, out of JJ Watt and Rob Gronkowski, who would invest more of their passion into a macaroni and cheese eating contest? I would have to argue that Gronkowski would probably take that title home. And now for another actual question. For No Reason asks, what is your favorite style of music and who's your favorite artist? Now, I'm not the world's biggest music listener. If I'm in the car, I'll do it, not really at home, but favorite style of music, probably hip hop. Favorite artist, probably Meek Mill, maybe Big Sean. Both of them combined. Burn from Dreams and Nightmares was a great one for me. Oliver Martin asks the question everybody's been thinking about. Who is the amazing artist who drew that Shrek picture in the background? And honestly, I simply googled Shrek NFL and I was gifted with this. However, if I happen to know, I would be willing to pay the millions for exclusive rights to it because it is simply the greatest picture I've ever seen. Sixers JT, come in with a challenge. If someone asks you to name 5 players on each team in less than 5 minutes, could you? Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily that difficult to, name 5 players from each team. I think when you're doing it timed, the challenge will come in not getting a blank mind. And I will now attempt to do exactly that. All right, here we go. 5 minutes starts now. San Francisco 49ers, we've got Jimmy Garoppolo, Richard Sherman, DeForest Buckner. Who else is on that team? Joe Staley and Reuben Foster. Seattle Seahawks, this one's difficult. Who's even left? You've got Earl Thomas, Russell Wilson, Los Angeles Rams, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley. Now, what's his name? I just said now because I know who it is. Brandon Cooks. Aqib Talib, and Aaron Donald. Atlanta Falcons, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman, and Mohamed Sanu. Chicago Bears, you got Leonard Floyd, you got Mitch Trubisky. Who did they just sign? Allen Robinson. Who else do they have? They still have Danny Trevathan and Eddie Jackson. Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. I'm thinking of the receivers and I just can't say their names out loud. Golden Tate. Marvin Jones. There's too many names in my head right now. Harrison Smith. What did I say? Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Harrison Smith, Xavier Rhodes. Eric Kendricks. Gotta scroll up. I'm never gonna get this done. No. So the answer to Sixers JT is I cannot do it. I tried it. I got through almost all of the NFC in 5 minutes. It just takes too long. Too many half names fly into your head. It's not about knowing individual, it's not about knowing 5 players for every team. Most people know 5 players for most teams. It's about doing it under the time pressure, about coming up with them all. Really, I should just, if I had some sort of system, maybe, but honestly said, no, I cannot. Zach Hazaliah says, what position does Shrek NFL play? Shrek NFL is an old school guy. Of course, from his stature, you would guess he plays center and nose tackle. He's a two-way man, and he can also kick a pretty good field goal. Then Mad Dog 561 says, okay, but who is better, BJ Wiener or Shrek? Although we all know that neither are better than Beardmohbox, but don't say that too loud. BJ Wiener might hear you. BJ Wiener is the best. Grandma Tater says, if you had to create your own NFL team and you could draft one player, who would it be and why isn't it Hugh Janus? It isn't Hugh Janus because I believe cornerback shouldn't be the cornerstone of your new team. If we're saying draft from this last draft, if I had to, no single quarterback is promising enough for me. I would draft Saquon Barkley and I'd build around him. Melinda Merriman says, do you think the NFL should add relegation / promotion? Also, what's your opinion on Brexit? Brexit? But should NFL add relegation or promotion? No, but thinking about that, I like the system it is, but if you were, like, honest, if you cut 2 or 3 teams out of the NFL, I'd say 2 to keep it even, I think the entire level would go slightly higher. Right now, you've got about 3-4 teams a year that wallow at the bottom and don't do much. If you take all of, like, half, at least most of those teams have got 5-6 decent starters. You take them, plug them into other teams, I think you've got then 30 teams or maybe 28 teams of a much higher standard than 32 teams. But I like the way it is, and obviously I don't actually want to lose any NFL franchises. Brad Needs a Friend says, why haven't you shaved? Brad, it has been 8 years since I've actually properly shaved. The reason why is because I'm just waiting for the Dollar Shave Club brand deal. If they pay me money, I will shave to the skin for the first time in 8 years and sell out entirely. Actually, it depends on how much money they offer me, but I don't think that is true. Let's see. Hey, Dollar Shave Club, you're up. The Moo says, Cow says, who do you think was the most surprising move of the first round of this year's draft? If move means just in terms of picks, very simply, I was pretty much done with the draft after the first pick of Baker Mayfield. Nothing against him as a player himself. I just think, and I will for the rest of my life, I believe, will think that the Browns should have taken Saquon Barkley. And if Baker Mayfield probably would have been there at 4 anyway. I don't know. That was my most surprising move. Even wrong or right, still surprised me a lot. Andy070 says, have you ever been recognized in public? See, the trick there is, 1, nobody would recognize me. 2, you can't be recognized in public if you never go out in public. And 2, also, when do you plan on doing a face reveal? I don't think that's something right now that would, I don't know. Potentially in the future, I could do a face reveal. But right now, I'm happy with where I'm at. Oscar the Grouch asks, if an NFL team, cough cough, the Jaguars, moved to London, would they become my favorite team? I do not want, in any shape or form, an NFL franchise in London or in any European country anywhere. Would I be a fan of the team? Probably, but I wouldn't be a fan of the actual move itself. Bad Shot Gaming YouTube says, why is Jimmy Garoppolo already a lock for first ballot Hall of Fame status? And you are correct in saying that he is, and it's because he's handsome. Jason Goodman says, you said we should ask you questions this week so that I'm providing the content instead of you. By asking the questions, aren't we in essence still providing the content? All right, that's it. You are banned. Get out of here. And finally, Hurry the Feet says, are you thinking about redoing the Lamar Jackson career mode, but with the Ravens? You know, I think I have to use the actual Lamar Jackson in Madden. That's something I certainly will want to do. Will I do a career mode with the Ravens after having done a career mode with the Ravens, even though it would be a player one? I don't know. I think I'm certainly going to have to find a way to do something with him, although then I can join a club of maybe 15 other people as well. But I'm excited to use him in Madden, that's for sure. So, Jason, thanks for pointing out the fact that I'm still just milking everybody else for my ideas. And with that said, Zach Fuller has got the question for everybody this week, because I was going to answer this myself, but I thought actually this is a pretty interesting one to put out there. He says, what NFL team would you most like to own? I extend that question to, what NFL team do you want to own, and what is the first major change you would make as an owner of that franchise? So next week we'll be looking at the answers to that question, and also make sure to come as we will have a new picture. You don't want to miss that.